Check. Testing.
My testing. Test.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. Salam Malaysia Madani. May I have your attention please? Ladies and gentlemen, kindly be seated as the ceremony is about to begin. We also wish to remind everyone to switch off your mobile phone or put them on silent mode. For your information, this event will be broadcasted live on University Kuala Lumpur Facebook page. Okay, we will begin at 10:30 a.m. Thank you. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning and salam Malaysia Madani. Yang berbahagia, Teknologis Dr. Muhammad Nasir alias Chairman of ICETSS 2024. Yang berbahagia, Professor Andrew King, Associate Dean Entrepreneur College Tai Chang Shan, Chiao Tong Liverpool University. Yang berbahagia, Tuan Rahaizan bin Muhammad Noor, Chief Executive Officer, HPA International. Distinguished guests, committee members of ICETSS 2024, sponsors, presenters and participants of ICETSS 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the day 2 of the International Conference of Entrepreneurship, Technology and Social Sciences 2024. My name is Nur Hadiana Nurul Matin from University Kuala Lumpur Malaysian Institute of Information Technology, and I will be your MC for today. Before we proceed with the auspicious event, I would like to invite Yang Berusaha Dr. Muhammad Nasrul Hakim bin Jalaluddin from Teknoputra Division, University Kuala Lumpur, to lead the doa recitation. Please welcome.
Al-Fatihah. A'udzubillahi minasyaitonir rajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala asyrafil anbiya'i wal mursalin Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Ya Allah, Ya Kareem, Oh Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. All praise to Allah the Almighty. May peace and mercy of Allah be upon His Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his families, companions and followers. We thank you, Allah, for allowing us to be here today, attending the closing ceremony International Conference of Entrepreneurship, Technology and Social Science ICETSS 2024 in peace and harmony. Ya Allah, Ya Rahman, in conjunction with this conference, we ask for your aid and guidance. Grant us true happiness and health to our body and soul to make the following of your command easy for us. We seek your mercy to keep open and expand our heart to receive the good and welfare from you. Oh Allah, direct our effort and fulfill our aspiration to propel University Kuala Lumpur towards greater success in attaining global excellence. Rabbana atina fid dunya hasanah wa fil akhirati hasanatan wa qina azaban nar. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa barik wasallam. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Takabbarallahu minkum.
Amin, amin, ya Rabbal Alamin. Thank you, Yang Berusaha Dr. Nasrul, for the doa recitation. Now, as we start with today's agenda, I am excited to announce the keynote speakers who will share their insights and expertise with us. First, we will hear from Professor Andrew King, Associate Dean at the Entrepreneur College Tai Chang Siachian Jiao Tong Liverpool University, SJTLU. He will present on the topic Future Ready, Why the World Needs Next-Gen Entrepreneurs. Following him, we are privileged to have Tuan Rahaizan bin Noor, Chief Executive Officer HPA International, who will discuss on student entrepreneurship program and business opportunities with HPA International. I would like to encourage everyone to stay engaged and take full advantage of the knowledge and experiences these esteemed speakers will share. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is my great honor to introduce our first keynote speaker. Professor Andrew King is Associate Dean at the Entrepreneur College Tai Chang, a leader in industry-driven education and innovation virtual physical learning spaces. With over 20 years of experiences bridging academia and enterprise through technology projects, he empowers students to thrive in fast-evolving industries via transformative learning experiences and live industry collaboration. From pioneering apps and serious games to award-winning fearless spaces like the Foundry at UWE Bristol and Syntax Studio at XJTLU, his work fosters learning through innovation and prepares the next generation with entrepreneurial mindsets and world-changing skill sets. At SJTLU, Professor King has spearheaded powerfully progressive curricula and state-of-the-art collaborative spaces, equipping graduates as adaptable, resilient innovators. By tackling the graduate paradox, his initiative enables learners to solve complex challenges and drive positive change in a world of unprecedented transformation. Please welcome Professor Andrew.
Say this the best that I can. Yang Bahaga. Oh my goodness. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, everyone. I will say it in English, but basically, welcome Dr. Mohammed Nasir alias. Welcome Tuan Rahazian bin Noor, Chief Executive Officer of HBA International. Thank you everyone for making me feel so welcome on this trip. I'm also happy to welcome distinguished guests, committee members of ICETSS 2024, sponsors, presenters, and participants of the event. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very proud and I'm very happy to be the first keynote speaker today to talk to you about something that is very, very close to my heart. Fine, I'm going to jump down onto the stage and walk around a little. Thank you very much. Right. Okay. So, what I'd like to open today with is to talk about why the world needs next-gen entrepreneurs. I think I'm in the right place for that. I had a lot of fun yesterday talking to everyone here about their amazing work and the amazing papers that have been put together. Can I have a quick show of hands here from the audience to see who's a student here right now? Can I have a hands up if you're a student? Don't be shy. Okay, can I have your hands up if you're an academic? Okay, fantastic. Right, I will tailor my speech accordingly. Most of what I'm talking about is not aimed at students. It's aimed at the academics, okay? This is very important for everyone. So what I want to talk about today, when I say getting future ready, I want to think about how we as academics are edupreneurial. We need to be more entrepreneurial in what we do. We also need to, he says, there's the PowerPoint, the presentation. There we go, escape our silos of business schools. I don't think we have that problem with Technoputra. I think there's amazing opportunities here in Malaysia with entrepreneurship education. But on, more broadly, we have a problem with business schools being home to entrepreneurs and entrepreneurs not really escaping out of their department. We also need to think differently about learning space. Learning space is very important and we kind of forget about it. We also need to think about how entrepreneurship can change the campus. And ultimately, with the challenges that we are facing, we need to think about how entrepreneurship can save the world. I will focus on three things, but predominantly I will talk about learning space. And I hope by the end of this keynote, I will have won you over to why, as academics and entrepreneurs, we need to think about space differently. The reason for that is I'm a little bit of an unconventional academic. My first job after graduating was in the games industry. And I was making PlayStation 1 games. So you can work out how old I am by the fact we are now on PlayStation 5. But I went to academia because I realized that these technologies could do more. They could be more powerful, use sort of more powerful tools for learning. So my early career was writing games technology degrees, running creative technology departments, and my professional practice was making educational games. Now, in the course of doing this, we ran into quite a lot of problems with the students and their ability to intersect with the real world. So I've had a kind of transition from making games to running an entrepreneurship department. So this $200 billion industry, as we know, has driven dramatic innovation. It's NVIDIA GPUs driving AI transformation, running driverless cars, all sorts of things. So this is my context. But there are two other things you should know. I'm very passionate about innovation spaces. I think this hotel is an amazing innovation venue, but I'm particularly fascinated with Building 20. This is a building in MIT, and I'll talk about it later. It was a very special place because the space itself, attributed to the success of 9 Nobel Prizes, came from this humble building. It gave the world hacking. The word hack comes from this building. The world's first commercial video game, Space War, comes from this building. And a great many other, if you've heard of Bose speakers, that came. The atomic clock came from that building. It's a very special building. Unfortunately, they knocked it down in 1998. So I am now interested, my practice is designing virtual and physical learning spaces. And I will have a lot of content on these slides, and some of the stuff I will have to skip over, but the main point that I want to make is that to be entrepreneurial, to be innovative requires agency. And agency is something that our games and social media, allow us to feel, but our classrooms don't. So these are examples. The final thing that I would say about me is that I believe in learning through innovating, not using innovations, making innovations, being innovative. So this is all examples of students' projects that they have made in the innovative spaces that I've built previously. And many of these things went on to commercial success and startups. So we are here. I think it's fair to say, with the people in the room today, we're getting a lot about educational entrepreneurship right. We know that it's very important. We know about entrepreneurial mindset. But actually, I think most of us also recognize the world is disconnecting from education in many ways. And entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship education is a way that we can enliven this. But we have some challenges, including with the PowerPoint slides. There we go. So I would say, I have a phrase, residual innovation. And for academics, what I mean by this is we are quite innovative in what we do, but we are innovative around the processes and the blocks and the regulations and the things that get in our way, the reasons why an institution might say no to something. So we're very good at doing this, but we're not very good at changing those regulations, those rules. And I think on top of that, we all know that, you know, AI, Industry 4.0 is going to continue to reshape and even threaten education. So I think that actually entrepreneur educators have a challenge to get the next generation more ready than we already are. I have a phrase that I use a lot, and I use this word, fear. Formal education and academic regulation. It's a word that I use to summarize the feeling of over-industrialization of education, shall we say. And I think we're now facing an unprecedented time of change for our education, and we need to be bolder. We need to be not fearful, but fearless in our approach. So, as academics, we're very good at coming up with acronyms for things. So over the years, we've had VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. We've had tuna. We've also had RUPT, and we've also had Barney. So we're very good as academics coming up to describe the world that we face. We're less good at doing things about it. So the point that I want to make is that after, you know, hundreds of years of education, we're still not that good at getting students to leap out of their degrees into the world of work. And I think I call it a Shadbolt problem. And basically, I would say Shadbolt was a report by a chap in the UK in 2016 that said technical education is fantastic, the graduates have no real-world skills, and you need to do something about it. And just after that happened, we had the pandemic, which obviously exacerbated things further. So we still have pockets where, beyond entrepreneur education, where they don't get any real-world experience at all. And I think on top of that, some academics, beyond entrepreneurial academics, are not comfortable telling students about the reality of the future they face. But this thing is all totally teachable. We know what Industry 4.0 is. We know 5.0 is coming. We know these challenges exist. And entrepreneur academics are very good at preparing their students for a fast-changing world and with the ability to pivot and these kinds of things. So really what I'm talking about is why entrepreneurship, and I'm looking at the entrepreneur academics in the room, and I want to try and give you a nudge and say, you are best placed to educate for technological change. You're the best place to educate for social transformation of industries. We're the best place for understanding the economic shifts that the world is currently going through. And also that you understand, you know, the actual job of retail and customer expectations and the world that, you know, we're going into. So the reason why I came to China 2 years ago from the UK is that I realized that education is going to change in all recognition. And the pace of change in China was enough to draw me from a very comfortable existence as an academic in the UK. It's fair to say that China has poured more concrete in 10 years than America has in 100. And the rate of change there is very important to our education systems. So the next 10 years will bring more change, I think, for all of us than the next 100. The other thing to bear in mind is that what our generation thinks is the future has already passed or is already here. And the point I mean by that is, you know, Blade Runner 2049 or maybe Cyberpunk 2077. These are games that are, you know, games and films from, you know, cultural reference points. Our students today will retire in 2085. So they're living in the future, their careers. And in putting this slide together, I was trying to come up with the future careers, and I realized that all of these already exist. These jobs, you can be a quantum programmer, you can be a rocket design architect, you know, the blockchain crypto stuff we all know about. So actually, the fact that 75% of 2035's jobs don't yet exist should be something that we are preparing all students in education, not just the entrepreneurial students, for. And the top skills consistently asked for by CEOs are resilience, adaptability, and innovation. And 77% of CEOs report that they don't have enough entrepreneurial thinking. So I think we've got something that we can do about that. So I'm not going to give you the definition of entrepreneurs and intrapreneurs. However, we are going to say that 70% of business models are at risk due to Industry 4.0, 5.0. But entrepreneurs are responsible for 60% of the world's job creation. So I think entrepreneur education needs to be broader than just business schools. On the intrapreneurship side, 75% of companies either do or express an interest in funding dedicated internal innovation. And on top of that, we have 20% faster revenue growth if you hire students from technical disciplines if they have an entrepreneurial mindset or an entrepreneurial minor. So, I think I've justified why entrepreneur educators need to do more than just entrepreneurship. But now I'm going to explain the innovation part. I don't think we have a reputation as academics for embracing the latest technology. It might quite not be pitchforks at dawn, but we're not particularly good at getting the technology trends right in our actual academic practice. And the point here I want to make is that, you know, photocopiers, e-books, calculators, smartphones, computers, the internet, online courses, and AI have all been things we've tried to stop. And yet the reality is all of these things in the end becomes a critical driving part of our education. So as academics, we need to be better at jumping on these things, embracing them and driving them forwards. All of these, I mean, with the exclusion of Bosch, certainly the Happy Meal, Prime, Gmail, are all internal, intrapreneurial projects made by these large corporations. And we know that if students do an entrepreneurial minor or have real-world work experience as they do their degree, they're 50% more hireable. And what's really interesting to me is I was recently in a large, major UK university, and I used the phrase real. I said, our students do real projects. And they said, don't use the word real, use the word authentic, because we can't do real. We only do real simulated. I said, no, you absolutely can do real. And they said, we're not technical. I said, it doesn't matter whether you're technical or not. And I want to show you some student innovations, but I will just remind us about how bad as academics we were. The various sort of innovations in learning technology that we've had over the years. The shape of our skull is how bright we are. Facial gymnastics to make our brain blood flow improve. Sleeping with books under the pillow. These are all things that there are academic papers about, by the way. Brain training, plugging in, electrocuting ourselves. Luckily, things got a bit better. But let's just say, as soon as we could throw an image onto the wall, we did. You know, the same as I'm doing that right now. So the magic lantern, late 19th century, we started putting slides on the screen. And we still do it. Through to the 80s, this was my experience. Watch a video. Just be told about the world. As soon as we had computers, we used them for, you know, binary yes-no testing. And when we had, you know, audio technology, we put people in booths and made them all study individually. Luckily, I'm a child of the 80s. Now, I don't know whether you got the BBC Micro, but there was a glimmer of hope. So the British Broadcasting Corporation funded a home computer, and that taught me to code. And that's how I started making games. So luckily, from the 1980s on, things got a bit more interactive. And I know I'm teaching you to suck eggs at the moment, but I want to make a major point in a minute that we're maybe not doing things the right way. I think we know these technologies. We've used these for the last 20, 30 years to varying extents. The problem is they're only slightly innovative. The students aren't making them. We're using them. We're just using it to do the same sort of transmission that we used to. You know, it's a little bit more interactive, but really, this is what you need to learn. Interact with this system. Now you are learning it. I think we can do better. So I'd like you to meet Daniel, Dan, Matt, and Leo. And these are 4 of my students, and these are games students. So whilst they learn coding, I wanted to show you as an example of what I mean by real world. So the 2 on the left prototyped the telemetry for the Bloodhound SSC World's Fastest Car. That is 2 humble second-year games technology students thinking about making a video game one day, suddenly finding themselves working with 609 sensors on a Eurofighter Typhoon engine, using a game engine. And what that does to their trajectory, their own learning trajectory of having to engage the real world, is pretty much stratospheric. And on the right-hand side, 2 students made a STEM game to engage 4,000 school kids with learning STEM and engineering. And this is part of their coursework as second-year students. And these things do scale. There are ways to scale this as well. But I wanted to say this is learning by innovating, not using innovations. So what I'm trying to do is set the context here as I move to the most important and third part of my talk today. I wanted to say that we need fearless spaces. We are working very hard to make XJTLU campus a fearless space because the space that we learn in has gigantic effects on whether our students take us seriously and take the work seriously. So himself an MIT alumnus, Seymour Papert taught me programming with his Logo robots in the 1980s. He gave us Lego Mindstorms. He was a true word of a kind of edupreneur. He's an academic that made inventions. He also came up with constructionism, makerspaces, and fab labs, all of which is across our educational institutions. But that phrase there, the role of the teacher is to create the conditions for invention. I would say we can update that and say the role of the teacher is to create the conditions for innovation. But I remember this report from Dell in 2017. The change of technology and society in the future will be so great that people will learn in the moment. If we're learning in the moment, then how do our hierarchies, our modular structures, our quality frameworks scale? How do we keep up with that? So 21st century skills, they were a toolkit. They're not the entire way of learning. They're missing something. They're not enough to give you the skills for an uncertain future. So an entrepreneurial mindset is the thing that can leverage 21st century skills. And I think the thing that we're missing on top of that is we've got the curriculum already, we've got the pedagogy already, we need the space. We need the space which changes perceptions. And I want you to think about the attention economy of the video game world for a second. Video games, you know, if you're not in one game, you're in another game. You're in your rival studio's game. These worlds are designed to make people stay in them and not go to your competitors. And yet none of, and let's just say games are probably one of the key activities that students do in their free time. And yet the educational worlds that we give them to inhabit are very stark in comparison. So we need fearless spaces, spaces that feel less formal, less regulation. And I want to sort of expand on that a little bit. I would say that this was supposed to be the future. I think since the dawn of time, we've thought about the future of education. And I really think that by now, we need to get beyond adding wheels to desks and putting projectors in spaces and calling them active. I think we can do more. So over the years, we've seen, and to be clear, at XJTLU, our modules have over 800 students in. And it would have maybe been easy to do this, but we don't do that. And I think over the years, it's safe to say we've been fighting with whether we are doing things formally or informally. And we've got very close in the past, things like the open schools movement, but we haven't quite got there. And I think we're currently hugely unprepared for the future in terms of our learning spaces. And you see this kind of, oh, we're going to do 1 or 2 active learning spaces, we're going to do a nice sort of fab lab, but the majority of our labs are still quite formal. And we still have this discourse, this idea that you can't have open, it's too flexible, you need to guarantee everyone's got exactly the same skills. So Teal Space, 2004 MIT active learning concept, changed the way we think about spaces. But it's 20 years old. That concept hasn't evolved. And what's kind of scary, before putting this lecture together, I asked AI, I asked ChatGPT what the classroom of the future looked like in 20 years' time, in 10 years' time, sorry. And got a row of desks. So I said, okay, 20 years' time, I got more desks, exactly the same. I said, okay, push yourself and give me 50 years' time. And we got some desks. We almost got teal desks. I was quite happy. So I said, okay, let's go 200 years into the future. And I got more desks. I got rows of desks facing the front. Now, if this is the sum of human intelligence on learning space, it made me quite scared. So our current spaces don't foster agency. They don't prepare people for the real world. But universities need to become hubs for continual upskilling, the continual next big thing. And I think other thing that academics have been bad is every time we try to create a new learning system or a utopic, a perfect idealistic online learning or VR or you name it, it always ends up looking like a white website, a white plain web page with a drop-down form and some radio buttons. We are very bad at making utopic kind of learning systems, and they all just end up as more management software. So entrepreneurial academics need to be fearless, and we need to embrace something. This is the word I will leave you with for today. We need to embrace otherness. Otherness is thinking outside of the box in terms of our spaces. Neither of these things work. Using technology to throw facts at students, sitting at the front, or just doing the traditional chalk and talk. What scares me slightly is with 61,000 papers in 2010 and 233 academic papers in 2020, there's much on gamification and game-based learning, but nothing about the aesthetic of a learning space. Very little. You can count the papers on one or two hands. So the thing is, we're building these amazing campuses and less than 10% of architects actually go back to see how the space was used. There's a disconnect, and academics certainly don't think space is their job. So that's the thing I want you to think about, because in a video game, our games change player behaviors. So I would like our spaces to foster what we call an emotional reality of the careers that students will go on to have. When we talk about flow theory, the idea that you lose track of everything going on, your mum might be shouting at you to come and have your dinner and you don't hear it because you're so engrossed in the game. The challenge and skill in that flow cycle is so strong, you don't hear them. Wouldn't it be great if our spaces made learners like that? And we also need to make our spaces feel a bit more scary. So video games are very good in this way. You feel like at any moment you might, fail, but you're always given the means to survive and to continue. So I'm going to sort of move towards wrapping up, but I want to give you an example of the very first enterprise studio that we ran in the UK. And this is the first time that on scale I worked with students on industry projects. And this is what made me feel so strong about space. I've been doing this for about 20 years, and we had 7 what we call enterprise studios. This meant that students could get paid to support their studies doing the job that they would have when they graduate. They start work early. They get paid to do that job. And it was about intrapreneurship. And it definitely made the students more employable. But what it made me realize is where they did the projects, genuinely, where they did the project affected whether the project was a success or a failure. So we had a range of games that were made, and depending on where we made them, it had a huge outcome, a huge difference. So I would say in a formal space, in a fearful space, the clients didn't trust the students one bit. They just thought they were going to get cheap labor. The students didn't develop their own agency at all, and both of them consistently saw academic intervention for everything, to the point where we were almost coding for them. Students thought it wasn't real work. They were never proactive, and the projects were kind of hacky or complicated. And I think the teams struggled in the traditional labs. The team cohesion struggled if you were in a traditional computing lab. So we tried to get a dedicated space, and it was a small office, but it was very formal, and things got a bit better, but it was nothing like the innovation that MIT had. And what I realized is that students are scared. Fearful learning phrase comes from the fact that your students are scared to use the things in the lab at that time. They ask for permission, or they're scared to even ask for permission. And also what occurred to me is that, if you're going to have flow and we're going to have, this balance of in a video game, there's only two reasons why you stop playing a video game. You're anxious, the game is too difficult, or you're bored, the game is too easy. And games increasingly are about balancing this. But our classrooms don't help that, but game worlds do. There's a disconnect here. So we know students are quite stressed. We know games affect behavior powerfully. We know the two reasons. Do you know there's only 15 seconds before your students decide what their lesson is going to be like? As soon as they walk into the space, you have a 15-second window to change their expectations. They walk into a lecture theatre, it doesn't matter if you're going to be dancing on stage, their preconceptions are set. So you need a space that can challenge this. So, let me show you what we did. From a time in 2004, before Facebook, when Facebook was called FaceMash, and when Steve Jobs was 2 years away from launching the iPhone, there was an academic theory by James Paul G. And he said, universities, classrooms, schools are under threat because students will learn to learn in online spaces which are more powerful than the academic campus. And he didn't think that communities of practice reflected the power of space. They were too much about membership. They weren't enough about the conditions of the environment that they were in. And this was actually a theory that evolved from how game developers work together online. But what it basically says is a 20-year warning that we've partially heeded, but not really enough. And in 2016, another academic decided that you could make a physical space by linking these two things. So we have affinity space to save the campus, to make them pull people in. And you also have heterotopia. Stop trying to make learning utopias that turn out to be boring websites. So you try and create spaces which are a bubble on campus, a bubble of innovation, a bubble of otherness, just feeling very different to what they get in the normal classroom. So my work became about trying to build one of these. And I wanted to look at, and I did a 2-year study into what made Building 20 special. What makes Building 20 special was paradoxes. It was paradoxical. There was what we do in mainstream education, we make things consistent. We don't make things irregular. So we looked through all of the different paradoxes and looked at the things that would be easier to replicate. So we looked at these paradoxes and came up with our own list, and I'll show you what we did in a minute. But Building 20 was a temporary building built after World War II to help the war, during World War II to help the war effort. And it was only meant to last for the duration of World War II, but it lasted until 1998. On our campus at UE, there was also a building scheduled for demolition, and I managed to snag it. And what started as a 6-week squat for one summer turned into a £2.1 million Institute of Coding project on the future of learning spaces. And I want to show you what we did. So we had a constructionist aesthetic. We were very Building 20 inspired. In fact, here's the entrance to Building 20, and this was the entrance to our foundry space. So we were echoing the very trendy constructionist aesthetic you see in this hotel. But we also did the design paradoxes. Old but new, hard but soft, closed but open, serious but playful, industrial but homely, vintage but futuristic, separate but connected. So these were the philosophies that we used for the design of this space, to mash all of these things together, to try to create a space that when the students walk in, they forget they're a student. And what happened in this space was quite powerful. And really strange things started to happen. Everything got very boisterous. There was loads of extra behavior, what traditional academics would say bad behavior. We call it off-topic activity, but there was way more of it. Felt like half of the activity was boisterousness. But we also noticed there was passion and nurture to that space. And the other thing is the projects started to run themselves. Industry started to work as equals with the staff, with the students. So we decided to do a study on this, and we compared traditional computer science labs. The Wave is a kind of state-of-the-art flexible learning space, with all the latest technology. The Works was 2, and then we had the Foundry, which is our kind of off-grid space. And we used the global game jams across 2017, 18, 19, 20 to study the phenomenon. And basically, I will save you the methodology that we did. But broadly speaking, 360-degree cameras, 48 hours of interviews, various other sort of thematic analysis, many stages of thematic analysis. And I won't, whilst you can look at the sort of way in which we use the space, I wanted to show you a few quotes from the students from accessing the Foundry. It's kind of weird, but the raw look of the room looks like it's almost been constructed out of weird bits and bobs. It almost makes me think about making things. I suppose that works with making games, makes me think constructively. It brings out the fact you're doing this outside of education. It's not formal, it's very different. A lot of us were tinkering away through the night, whereas I'm pretty sure if we were in a lab, everyone would have gone home. It was go nuts. Rather than you can do stuff or can't do stuff, we could do whatever we wanted. And I think, I'm going to skip over the other ones, but they looked after each other. It was boisterous, it was messy, various other things. But the students found it motivating. And the thing that I want to show you is, if we come up here, is I'm not going to make you learn heterotopic affinity space. I have enough trouble talking to my own staff about that. But what I will say is informal, fearless spaces will change how your students collaborate. We've subsequently developed a theory of how other institutions can generalize these spaces into a way that is achievable. And we've also looked at how these lateral moments, this boisterousness, actually shows that there's deeper flow occurring. So each of our game jams that we ran in that space has a public vote, and for the 3 years and thousands of students voting, the Foundry consistently made the best games. This here was a graph showing their preference for where they wanted to work compared to the flexible teal space that we had here and the workspace there versus the Foundry. Foundry had no movable desks, bad air conditioning, none of the things that we think that students need, but they loved it. So I want to very quickly, just to finish off, revisit this idea of flow. In terms of educational theory, we know that students get into flow and do their coding and put their heads down and, crack on. And when they've done their flow, they go back into a group and they work out what they're going to do next. What we realized in the Foundry is that there's these other states of behavior, the boisterous group stuff, and then the individual reflectiveness. And there's actually a cycle of flow going on here in that space because of the informal nature that's similar to Building 20, that basically means that they engage more deeply. The second thing that I wanted to sort of share with you is, this is a current piece of work that we're doing, is to say that this is where the Foundry was, a very extreme example. So here we have how different your space is, spatial otherness, up and down. And here we have your kind of pedagogy. This is a traditional lecture down here, and up here might be, project-based learning, industry-driven learning. So you can plot where your space is here, using these axes. So in China, in XJTLU, we've just finished building an attempt to try and hit the sweet middle point. What is generalizable from that crazy space that any university can build? I've got a slide to show you that in a minute, but what I wanted to just sort of touch on is to say that at our entrepreneur college, we have 2 campuses. One of them is upgrading traditional education, and the other one is version 2.0. We are trying to be the university of the future. Again, we are trying to make the conditions for invention. We are trying to make learning fearless. This means that students do 100% industry projects on their ENT curriculum. They start there as soon as they join us in their first year with us. They don't have any lectures or tutorials. They only have workshops in this new space. And we take the space very seriously. This is an example of a student company that's made a metaverse of our campus for learning and teaching. This is an example of a collaborative co-working space, which is also another space the university is building in partnership with the students. So as our numbers double, we've had to think differently about space. So this is a quick shot of Syntex. Syntex is our sequel to the Foundry. And to give you an idea, if you think it looks a little bit busy, it is. It has to have 300 students in it doing industry projects at the same time. So this is at a scale and a speed that is relatively uncommon, I think, in higher education. And we try and make that teaching, that fearless education, permeate everything we do, whether it's the Dream Chaser competition, whether it's our summer school. We are trying as academics to explore new ways to collaborate. We're trying to think about how we can innovate further in our pedagogy. And we're also trying to think about how we can transform education more widely. I want to say a little thing about Taisang and to say that it's a very unique campus because in China, It is the place where there are more European companies than anywhere else in China. And what we try to do in the Entrepreneur College is work with our 7 technical schools to make them entrepreneurial. And I will put this diplomatically and say it's sometimes quite a challenge to get those technical schools to think about industry differently. And what we have done with the Syntex space and this fearless learning is to reset that dynamic. They are not asking why ENT entrepreneur modules are being added to their major, because this is what's bringing their industry experience to life. So I hope that entrepreneurship education becomes the education of our times. It is the discipline that drives all other education. I think we need to equip the next generation to be fearless about their future and not to avoid talking about it. We must become fearless too, and that means as educators we must not be scared of making innovation ourselves. We need to find new ways to be innovative. The world will not wait for us, it won't wait for higher education either. We need to be bolder than we have ever been. And education must be leading this, otherwise we will get completely left behind. So I hope, although I've covered a lot of ground, I have given a bit of a clarion call for being more like edupreneurs, like Seymour Papert. We escape silos of business schools, or we help our colleagues escape their subject silos. We think about space differently, and we will be able to change the campus and hopefully inspire the next generations of students to be able to change the world and address the challenges that we face. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you for the insightful sharing, Prof. I now would like to open the Q&A session. Should you have anything in mind, please keep the thoughts coming. You may use the mic if you have any questions to ask to Prof. Andrew.
Good morning, I'm Dr. Po from Uni KL Business School. This is a very insightful sharing and very eye-opening, and I'm really very intrigued and attracted to it. But I just wonder whether this is possible to be done in a country like Malaysia, where we are under a lot of constraint, especially when a program is running. We need to have accreditation from various bodies. So do you face the same problem when you come up with this idea? Thank you.
Yes is the short answer. And I think those constraints are very entrepreneurial in a way. You know, entrepreneurs face challenges everywhere. So in China, I think because we are a joint venture university, we have the University of Liverpool, we have the Ministry of Education, the Board of Education, and the students that we have get both degrees. And because of that, it means that we need to keep both sides, you know, on board with what we're doing. And without trying to make it sort of become a sales pitch, what I would say is, it doesn't matter what you do in terms of your curriculum or what you do pedagogically. There's no guarantee that it will cut through. It's no guarantee. Our campus, we have a lot of very large words like integrative education, you know, and complex concepts that we use to explain our pedagogy. But they don't cut through. So I would suggest that it is absolutely possible for business schools to drive change across the institution, and that clever use of space will start a new conversation. Even if you can build one active learning space with an interesting aesthetic, as soon as people see it, if it has the desired effect, it will start making them ask questions. And that is actually the journey that we've been on. So the first 2 years of my time in JTLU, we rewrote the curriculum to make it project-based. We rewrote, the master's curriculum. Still not really anyone really listening. The students are listening, they're enjoying, but the wider institution, they did. But if you carve out a space, which when they walk into it, they're like, this is possible. And universities are very good at building spaces. So really, the active learning spaces that are already being built, if you're bold enough to embrace a slightly different aesthetic or a different layout or different lighting, people will talk about what you want to do and it will happen naturally. And I believe, I hope that my colleagues in the audience would agree with that actually, because most of them in this room are actually teaching in our Syntex space. So we have 9 staff in with these 300 students running their projects. And what's innovative is those staff stay with the student teams throughout our entire curriculum, and their project goes through their modules. And no one really understood that until they saw it happening in Syntex. So I would say that the best innovation happens when there's a lot of regulation. You can start having a conversation very, very small with the specific space. But I think it's a fantastic question. Thank you.
Is there any other questions?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Livan. I'm a PhD student from University Technology Malaysia. Good day, Professor. I think my question is how to make the innovative entrepreneurship in a sustainable way to be more sustainable within a long term of period.
Sorry, are you saying how is it sustainable inside the institution?
Yes.
I think every university is different. Every university is in a different place. I just wanted to double check whether sustainable as in Industry 5.0, but if you mean sustainable in terms of the curriculum, I think you need to have open conversations with these other curriculum areas and work proactively to collaborate with them. So our curriculum would not happen was it not for our staff going out to all of the 7 schools and bringing in projects and showing them what we can do. So basically the sustainable part of the educational model is essential to have the people coming to you because you can add value to them. We add value to our schools, the students that they do their projects. We are, how do we put it diplomatically? We are not technologists, but we were talking yesterday about how our robotics school is realizing that entrepreneuring students are actually making their own robotics programs and projects. So thank you for that question.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, hello.
Hello, I have a question after this very inspiring presentation. Can you please tell us from your experience in both the UK and China, what happens when you give freedom to the students, to the participants? And are there differences between these, cultural differences? Can this model be applied successfully in Malaysia, here in China?
I think that's a really fascinating question. I think it's very clear that the students in China are, say, very different to the students in the UK, and they react differently. And I think Syntex is a new space since this September. So I think there's a question still to be researched about the actual impact, but I can definitely talk about the impact on the students. I would say, how do I put this? The innovation spaces, if you've got a really progressive space and you put your top student in that space, you might not see a huge change. The first class students that are already excelling, they're already driven, they're already motivated, they will do well in that space, but the change is not significant. What I think is possibly the same in both worlds is if you put in the non-traditional students, the students that don't believe in entrepreneurship or don't believe they can run a company or have a foundation year or a complicated educational past, if you put them in those spaces, it looks like it's the same. It's a revolution in how they start to take things seriously. They think they're getting something special. They see an opportunity in a different way that they never saw when they're in rows of desks facing the front. And they feel like it's a flatter, open sort of environment, and they step forward. But as I said, we are since September for Syntex, as you know. So we that is a piece of research still to be written. But I would hope, and I will look at my colleagues here and say, do you think that Syntex is having an effect on the agency of the students? Yeah, and you've taught in the traditional context as well. So yes, what we need is to unlock the agency. So I think agency will be unlocked in both, but the manner in which it exhibits might be different. Let's find out. Thank you.
Okay, before we proceed further, I would like to announce the arrival of Yang Berbahagia Professor Insinyur Dr. Azman bin Senin, the President, CEO of University Kuala Lumpur, for being with us today. Thank you very much, Professor. Okay, is there any other questions? All right.
A very good morning. I'm a student from University Kuala Lumpur. I would like to ask the question, how can the need of high technology solutions be accessible and affordable for all students?
Oh, wow, that's a really good question. Yeah. I think there's probably a different answer other than money, but if your question's about access, is your question about access to innovative technology for all? Yeah. Okay. So what I would say is that even if you look at Syntex, we only have one high-performance workstation per table, but that one computer has access to the entire university's software. So I think you can do it, an active learning space, without any of the kind of high-end robotics, but it does link to the other question previously, that your space needs to be part of an ecosystem that can bring in the technologies from the different schools. So the way that we've built Syntex is that there is the infrastructure, the pull-down power, the wireless, the AV technologies, so that we can host any of the technologies from the schools and bring them into that space. So we teach cohort of students from 7 different technology schools, and we teach them together. So whilst on one level I'm not dodging the question in the way that, yes, of course, it would be brilliant to build a fabrication lab that has robotics and additive manufacturing and all of those technologies. But the trick is to build it in a way that everyone is welcome to bring their technology into your space. And the students are willing to bring in their technologies from the space as well. So it is a conversation that is ongoing with the academics from those schools when they realize that we are very open to new combinations of technology. But yes, certainly it's not possible for us to guess what technologies that the students would even need, but we support them once they start making their projects. Thank you for your question. Okay.
All right. Okay, thank you very much for the insightful sharing, Prof. Okay, I will now close the Q&A session. Okay, once again, thank you very much, Professor Andrew, and to all. Okay, let us now move forward to our second keynote speaker. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now moving on to our next keynote session, and it is my pleasure to introduce another esteemed speaker, Tuan Rahaizan bin Noor, the Chief Executive Officer, HPA International. Tuan Rahaizan bin Noor, age 51, served as the Chief Executive Officer, CEO of HPA International, with a career spanning 27 years in the company. He began his journey with HPA International in 1997. Under his leadership, the company has expanded its presence and strengthened its business operations across several Southeast Asian countries, including Indonesia, Brunei Darussalam, and Thailand. His extensive experience in international business development has played a crucial role in establishing HPA International as a leading name in the region. Today, Tuan Rahaizan will be sharing his insights on student entrepreneurship program and business opportunities with HPA International. Please join me in welcoming Tuan Rahaizan to the stage.
A'udzubillahi minasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning. Alhamdulillah yang berbahagia teknologis Dr. Muhammad Nasir Alias, Chairman of ICETSS 2024. Yang berbahagia Profesor Insinyur Dr. Azman Senin, President, Chief Executive Officer, CEO, Universiti Kuala Lumpur. Yang berbahagia Profesor Andrew King, Associate Dean Entrepreneur College Taichung, Zian Jiatong, Liverpool University. Distinguished guest committee members of ICETSS 2024, sponsors, presenters, and participants of ICETSS 2024, ladies and gentlemen, very good morning to everyone. Alhamdulillah, pagi ini saya akan menggunakan bahasa kebangsaan, bahasa Malaysia mix dengan bahasa Inggeris. Bismillah, insyaAllah. Let me introduce HP International. Kita lihat sama-sama video, insyaAllah. Silakan. Next. HPA International.
International was founded by the late Tuan Haji Ismail Haji Ahmad in 1987 and was officially established in 1995. Vision and mission: producing high-quality herbal products, providing alternative treatments, marketing halal and pure products, developing dynamic entrepreneurs, manufacturing and products, GMP certified factories in Perlis and Kedah, nearly 400 products including those in health, food, beverages and cosmetics. Business uniqueness, 100% Bumi Putera Muslim ownership. Recognized for Sharia-compliant MLM since 1997. Practices Islamic values in the workplace and the concept of Jawi medicine. Brand and achievements, famous products such as Radix coffee.
This is our new product, no sugar added.
Commitment to progress, embodied by the slogan, New Era.
Yesterday,
HPA International.
HP International. Berikan tepukan untuk HP International. HP International had an energy rooted in tradition. Alhamdulillah, HP International kita ada members, ya, di kurang lebih ada 1 juta members di Malaysia, di Indonesia, Brunei Darussalam. Kita ada office di Islamabad, Pakistan. Kita ada di Thailand, alhamdulillah, Kemboja, dan kita baru masuk ke Turki. Alhamdulillah, tepukan untuk HP International. Alhamdulillah. Our mission, HP International is committed to creating and change of effective medicinal products while shaping dynamic, progressive and steadfast entrepreneurs. Kekuatan pada HPA, alhamdulillah, since 1987, almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail bin Haji Ahmad, almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail yang dilahirkan pada 1 Jun
1963. Baru saja meninggal dunia 28 April 2024. Ya, itu founder HP International. Dan vision HP International prioritize the diversification of its herbal products in addition to its research programs to maintain its quality and to help ease the different illness supervise and its entrepreneurs to continuously expand their knowledge and strengthen their business towards success, family and community. And our objective to be number one, HP International to be number one producer and distributor of herbal products in Malaysia, lead the herbal industries in Malaysia through innovative, progressive and visionary production. Prioritize the empowerment of entrepreneurs. Ini almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail bin Haji Ahmad. Subhanallah, ya. HP International ditubuhkan bermula pada tahun 1987. Almarhum Tuan Haji anak kampung boy. Bukan orang kaya, tetapi daripada anak kampung yang rumah beliau di tengah sawah padi. Almarhum pernah cerita dengan saya. Dia kata bagaimana pada waktu nak pergi sekolah dia kena buka kasutnya nak merentas sawah padi. Masih ada rumahnya di situ. 1987 bermula HP International. Dan alhamdulillah HP International merupakan company pertama di Malaysia. 1997 kita buka factory yang mendapat good manufacturing practice daripada Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia. Terbagai untuk HP International. Masya Allah. 1997 ya. 1997. Dan seterusnya saya nak perkenalkan di sini Board of Advisor. Kita ada yang pertama sekali adalah Chief Syariah Advisor. Ustaz Ahmad Adnan bin Fadil. Beliau merupakan lulusan di Universiti Al-Azhar Mesir, Egypt. Kita ada Masya Allah Tuan Haji Fisal bin Ahmad Tajuddin, our senior advisor, experience more than 28 years. Yeah. Dan hari ini, Masya Allah yang saya nak perkenalkan di sini adalah yang berbahagia Tuan Abdul Ghani bin Hussein, senior advisor. Silakan Cik Abdul Ghani, Masya Allah. Sebelum ni beliau adalah Director Research and Development. Di antara resepi atau formula rahsia kopi radik ni, daripada beliau lah. Ini pemegang amanah almarhum Tuan Haji. Tepukan sekali lagi pada Senior Advisor Tuan Abdul Ghani bin Hussein ya. Masya Allah. Seterusnya kita ada Dr. Hajah Nur Hayati binti Ahmad, Senior Advisor. Alhamdulillah kita ada 4 orang Senior Advisor. Dan sekarang ni anak almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail yang menjadi Presiden, Tuan Muhammad Amir Ramadan bin Haji Ismail selaku Presiden HP International. Vice President anak Tuan Haji juga. Anak muda ni. Yang ni Tuan Muhammad Amir ni 30 plus lah umur. Very young. Ya. Tuan Muhammad Nasuha bin Haji Ismail, Vice President, 30 years old. Very young. Ya. Tuan Muhammad Fahmi bin Haji Fisal merupakan Managing Director. Dan Puan Raslina binti Muhammad Alwi, Managing Director juga. Dan saya sendiri diamanahkan untuk tahun 2024 ini, Chief Executive Officer. Subhanallah, selepas Tuan Haji meninggal, 28 hari bulan April, saya diamanahkan ke Indonesia. Sepanjang 7 bulan ini, saya banyak ke Indonesia, di Pulau Sumatera, di Banda Aceh, kemudian ke Pulau Jawa, ke Jakarta, kemudian ke Pulau Sulawesi di Makassar dan sudah juga pergi ke Pulau Madura ya, di Jawa Timur dan seterusnya di Kalimantan, di Pontianak. HBA di Indonesia kami sudah 24 tahun, 24 years di Indonesia. Kalau di Malaysia sudah 37 years. Ya, itu Alhamdulillah. Dan seterusnya kita ada, ini juga anak Tuan Haji Ismail, Tuan Abdul Fattah bin Haji Ismail, GM kepada production di factory. Alhamdulillah di kilang kita. Kita ada anak muda juga ini, Tuan Azizi bin Abdul Rahim, General Managers di Management Information System. Yang paling penting, the most important dalam bisnes, apa yang kita belajar dengan almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail bin Haji Ahmad adalah menjaga database customers. Itu yang paling penting. Bagaimana kita kena ada yang ni, alhamdulillah, management information system. Ya. Seterusnya kita ada Puan Nik Salmi binti Nikmat, General GM Research and Development. Ini di bawah di antara anak didik daripada Tuan Abdul Ghani. Masya Allah. Dan kita ada anak muda di sini juga. Tuan Muhammad Riza Fatin bin Mustafa Kamal, Branch Manager. Ada? Itu dia, Masya Allah. Muda lagi. Kalau Indonesia kata, ganteng lah. Dan subhanallah, ini anak Tuan Haji ni. Anak Tuan Haji Puan Nur Syahadah binti Haji Ismail, Principal of HP Tafiz School. Kita ada Tafiz School di Indonesia. Almarhum Tuan Haji berjaya membuka Tafiz sendiri di Indonesia. Dalam sejarah Indonesia tidak pernah anak Melayu Malaysia yang buka Tafiz mendapat certification daripada Majlis Agama Indonesia. Almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail adalah orang Malaysia yang pertama. Tepukan kepada almarhum. Masya Allah. Tuan Haji membuka Yayasan Tuan Haji Ismail HPA di Yogyakarta. Nanti saya tunjukkan gambarnya. Kita ada kurang lebih 500 student di Yogyakarta. Nanti kita pergi ke Jogja. Kita jalan-jalan di Jogja, insyaAllah. Lihat kami punya pesantren. Dan uniqueness of HPA businesses, HPA International, apa dia punya unik dia? The businesses is 100% owned by the native and has been in the herbal industry for over 30 years. Itu bukan untuk HPA, more than 30 years pengalaman kita dalam herbal ini. Dan over 100 types of products have been produced by HPA and are comprised of health products, domestic household items, food and beverage, cosmetics. Kami ada juga kosmetik. Tuan Haji pernah buka kilang kosmetik. Ya, kita ada kosmetik kita sendiri yang menggunakan gelatin halal. Kita ada produce gelatin sendiri. Gelatin halal, masya-Allah. HP introduced the concept of Jawi medicine practice which combines divinity and nature as its foundation. Nanti saya akan terangkannya ini bagaimana student entrepreneurship program yang kita laksanakan next year to 2025. Nanti saya akan tunjukkan apa yang dikatakan Jawi medicine practice ini. Dan yang ini juga yang penting juga, is very important. HPA entered the multi-level marketing. Kita ada sistem dalam bisnes, kita ada dua. Pertama, sistem multi-level marketing. Yang kedua, kita ada single level marketing. Ini sistem bisnes yang kita kena ada. Yang ini yang Tuan Haji buat since 1997 until now. Dan MLM Syariah recognition from Majlis Ulama Indonesia. Itu bukan untuk HPA. Masya Allah, kita dapat penganugerahan daripada Majlis Agama Indonesia, ya. Okey, dan yang ini unik juga. All of HPA employees are obliged to cover their aurah, recite al-maksurat and perform duha prayers before commencing work. Ini subhanallah. Nanti doktor, kalau kita ke kilang HPA, kita pergi waktu pagi ni, pekerja-pekerja kilang kita tak akan punch card dulu, tapi tak masuk ke kilang lagi untuk bekerja. Apa yang mereka buat, dia tarbiyah oleh almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail bin Haji Ahmad ini untuk masuk ke musola dulu, baca maksurat dan solat duha berjamaah. Perkara ni kita dah buat more than 20 years. Untuk bagaimana tarbiyah. Bagaimana kita kena tarbiyah kita punya teams, bagaimana untuk baca maksurat dengan duha. Subhanallah. Ini yang telah ditarbiyah oleh Tuan Haji Ismail bin Haji Ahmad. Dan yang paling penting juga di sini ialah HPA product prices are very competitive and affordable. Pengalaman kami dalam COVID-19. Bagaimana kami boleh bertahan dalam COVID-19? Dalam pengalaman kita dalam mengalami COVID-19, banyak company yang gulung tikar. Malahan ada yang bankrupt. Pengalaman saya yang diberikan arahan oleh almarhum Tuan Haji ketika COVID-19, kami fokus kepada online marketing. Dan saya dilantik sebagai Director TV Herbal. Kita buat TV Herbal dalam konsep online. Bagaimana untuk educate orang secara online. Sebab kita tak boleh buat face to face secara masa COVID. Dan menggunakan online, kami boleh capai kami punya sales per month more than 2 million per month. During pandemic. So, It's very important, interesting. Nanti kita nak bincang bagaimana kita nak buat ni. HPA Group of Companies. Ini alhamdulillah kita ada Al-Wahida Marketing untuk MLM Syariah Business. Kita ada Redic Halal Mart Sdn Bhd, market through single level marketing business. Kita ada HP Industry Sdn Bhd, manufacturer of premium coffee and herbal supplements. Dan HPA Food and Beverage Sdn Bhd, manufacturer of halal food and beverage. HPA lebih dikenali dengan produk halal tanggungjawab bersama. Itu yang dikenali oleh HPA sejak dari dulu lagi. Dan alhamdulillah, ini di antara yang latest yang kita ada kilang di Jejawi, dan kita ada kilang juga di Napoh, di Jitra. Dan alhamdulillah kita ada employees kurang lebih ada 400 orang. Ya, di Indonesia kita ada staff kurang lebih ada lebih 100 orang di Indonesia. Ya, alhamdulillah. Ini insya-Allah. Siapa yang belum pernah sampai ke kilang HP? Oh, tuan doktor belum ya? Oh, kita kena buat rombongan ni. Ya. Prop. You have to visit our factory. Ya. Perlis, ya. Border Thailand. So, Prop nanti sampai Perlis kita pergi makan tom yum di Thailand lah. Of course ya. Ini dia Perlis. Yang di kilang kita di Perlis, kilang kita GMP, Good Manufacturing Practice, International Standard Organization di bawah SIRIM. Ya, kita ada halal daripada JAKIM. Dan nanti ada yang latest nanti kita akan perkenalkan nanti iaitu Redic IQ. Ini yang kalau HPA ini dikenali dengan kopi. Ya, kopi. Tapi kita yang ada juga produk kita yang dalam bentuk koko, coklat. Ya, yang terbaru nanti tuan-tuan boleh cuba. Ya. InsyaAllah untuk Redic IQ, dipanggil Redic IQ yang latest. Ini kilang kita. Dan alhamdulillah kita hantar berkontena-kontena ke Indonesia kopi kita. Itu bukan untuk HP International, alhamdulillah. Okay. Ini Good Manufacturing Practice, GMP. Ini di bawah Kementerian Kesihatan Malaysia, KKM, alhamdulillah. Ini di antaranya adalah konsep bisnes kita dalam bentuk Redic Halal Mart. We have at least 50 Redic Halal Mart in Malaysia. Ya, kita kurang lebih ada 50 Redic Halal Mart. Nanti boleh scan di sini. Ya. Antara kopi yang kita ada juga yang sekarang ini kita lebih kenal dengan kita nak memperkenalkan konsep sehat, no sugar added. Kita buat kopi yang terbaru yang tuan semalam cuba, V-Radic Phenomena, yang tu tak guna gula pasir tu, no sugar added. Yang pertama kita nak menjimatkan kos daripada cukai gula. Itu yang pertama dulu. Yang kedua paling penting adalah sehatlah. Ya. Kita kena faham silent killer rakyat Malaysia. Pertama diabetes. Silent killer. Kedua ni diabetes, ni gagal ginjal. Ya. Hemodialisis. Jantung. Blood pressure, silent killer. So kita kena jaga dari segi kalau orang bercakap tentang no sugar added, maka kita memperkenalkan kopi kita yang terbaru no sugar added. Nanti boleh cuba, untuk antara yang terbaik lah yang kita pernah kenalkan, insyaAllah. Dan ini di antara bagaimana kita di Malaysia dan Indonesia, kita ada pesantren kita. Kita ada tahfiz kita sendiri di Mahat Tahfiz Nur Itibah di Perlis. Anak-anak Tuan Haji ni 10 orang yang hafal Quran. Allahu Rabbi. Ya, 10 orang yang hafal Quran. Ya. Kemudian kita ada di Mahat Tahfiz Sains Agro di Yan, Kedah. Nanti ni kita akan jadikan sebagai college atau kita punya pembelajaran untuk student di Kedah. Ini kalau pergi ni di kaki Gunung Jerai. Ya. Ada orang Kedah di sini. Ada student kita dari Kedah. Oh, ada dari Kedah. Ada dari Kedah ya. Masya-Allah ya. Okey, kita ada ini yang paling besar kita punya pesantren, kita ada kurang lebih ada 500 orang. Kita ada 500 student di Jogja. Prof. Ya. Di Jogja sudah tahun yang ke-7 di sana. Ini pesantren kita di Gunung Kidul Indonesia dan pesantren kita di Aceh. Kita ada di Aceh. Ini di antara bagaimana kita ada sekolah kita sendiri, ya. Ini di antara program yang saya hadiri untuk convocation student kita di Yogyakarta. Ya. Ini student kita di Perlis, ini di Jogja. Di Jogja. Ini masjid kita sendiri. Ini sangat unik ini. Kami punya ada insinyur kami sendiri di Jogja. Almarhum Tuan Haji dia kata apa? Tolong desainkan masjid ini persis Masjid Demak yang dibina oleh Wali Songo. Masjid ini kalau pergi nanti ke Jogja, doktor nanti kita pergi, insya-Allah. 2 kali dah sebut ni. Nanti kita terbanglah ke Jogja, dekat je Jogja kan. 7 bulan ulang alik Malaysia, Indonesia dekat je Jogja. Satu flight sampai ke Jogja. Jogja sekarang dah ada satu airport baru. International Yogyakarta International Airport. Kalau nak sampai kami punya pesantren ni dalam lebih 2 jam lah sampai. Ni yang kita buat ni kurang lebih menggunakan investment syarikat hampir 4 juta ringgit Malaysia. Ya, subhanallah ni di antara yang kita buat ini. Dia punya tiang pun sama macam mana kedudukan Masjid Demak yang dibina oleh Wali Songo di Indonesia. Subhanallah, ni idea almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail sangat luar biasa lah. Ya, Masya Allah. Dan ini yang paling penting pada kita nak masuk tajuk ini yang saya nak bincang tentang Student Entrepreneurship Program. Tuan Haji kata yang pertama sekali yang paling penting care economy, knowledge economy. Apa pun untuk student, untuk siapa saja kalau nak sukses adalah knowledge. Maka kita dah mengadakan 32 kali sijil herbalis ASEAN. Tepukan untuk HP International. Yang dihadiri daripada Indonesia, daripada Singapura, daripada Brunei Darussalam, daripada Thailand, daripada Kemboja dan daripada Malaysia. Sudah 32 kali pembelajaran sijil herbalis ASEAN. Tepukan lagi sekali pada HP International. Masya Allah ya. Ini yang terakhir. Pada tahun lepas kita buat bersama kerjasama dengan Universiti Islam Riau di Pekanbaru. Ini yang terakhir, kali yang ke-32. Sijil herbalis ASEAN kerjasama bersama dengan Universiti Islam Riau di Pekanbaru. Ya, yang dihadiri oleh Dekan Universiti Islam Riau sekali. Ya. Masya Allah, ini yang terakhir lah bersama dengan almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail. Dan paling penting dari sini adalah collaboration for education and entrepreneurship excellence. Ini kalau tuan-tuan tak kenal yang ni, Masya Allah, itu bukan untuk doktor. Masya Allah, ini pertemuan pertama kali lah di pejabat beliau. Subhanallah ya, Tuan Nasir. Subhanallah. Ini bagaimana kita nak collaborate dari segi strategic collaboration between HP International bersama dengan Universiti Kuala Lumpur. Itu bukan untuk Universiti Kuala Lumpur. Subhanallah. Ya. Ini yang terbaru juga. Yang terakhir saya pergi ke Indonesia, saya bertemu dengan Universitas Darussalam Gontor, UNIDA. Gontor ini 2026 100 tahun. 100 years. Antara universiti dan pesantren terbesar di ASEAN. Ini. Saya bertemu dengan rektor UNIDA, Universitas Darussalam Gontor, UNIDA, student untuk program Student Entrepreneurship Program yang akan bermula tahun 2025 ini. Dan telah ada kurang lebih 33 student yang siap untuk datang ke Malaysia mengikuti program ini tahun 2025, Student Entrepreneurship Program. Tepukan untuk UNIDA, Universitas Darussalam Gontor ya, di Ponorogo, kalau turun flight di Surabaya Airport International ya, di Surabaya ya. Ini kurang lebih dalam 1 jam daripada Surabaya Airport ya. Ini juga di antara universiti terbesar di Indonesia Timur ya. Kita bertemu dengan Universitas Hasanuddin Unhas. Student ada kurang lebih 80,000 student. Ya, 80,000 student. Strategic Partnership for Future Growth. Untuk bagaimana kita nak bekerjasama dengan pihak universiti untuk kita kena lihat yang paling penting adalah Gen Z, anak muda. Umur daripada 18 tahun ke 25 tahun, Gen Z. Kita tak boleh tinggal. Mana anak-anak yang 18 tahun, 25 tahun. Itu Gen Z. Tepukan untuk Gen Z. Masya Allah. Ya. Kita di sini ni Universitas Hasanuddin Unhas 80,000 students. Allah besar, ramai sekali. 80,000 pelajar, student. Ya, ini pertemuan kami bersama dengan rektor ya. Profesor Insinyur Dr. Jamaluddin Jompa, ya, di pejabatnya. Beliau sangat berminat untuk bekerjasama dan collaborate dalam bidang entrepreneurship. Ya. Sebab apa yang almarhum tadi diajar kepada kami adalah real business. Kita adalah real business, kita bukan teori. Kita adalah real yang betul-betul berada di bidang business since 1987 until now. 37 years untuk HP International, ya, 37 yang berpengalaman, ya. Dan ini antara yang terbaru juga, kita collaborate dengan Universitas Darul Islam Riau di Pekanbaru. Ini adalah rektor, di pejabat rektor, ya. Dan insyaAllah Januari 2025 juga Universitas Islam Riau akan hantar student di Malaysia. Semua training dan program di Malaysia. Ya, semua di Malaysia. Ya, sebab kita nak bagi pengalaman pada anak-anak Indonesia ni terbang datang ke Malaysia. Berpengalaman duduk di Malaysia, insya-Allah, ya. Dan modules for student entrepreneurship program, kita ada 8 modules. Ini sangat menarik ni, 8 modules yang saya bentangkan daripada pihak universiti. Dan mereka kena duduk dengan kita, belajar dengan kita for 6 months. 6 bulan. Belajar. Bukan teori, teori and practical. Apa yang kita ajar di sana? Yang pertama. Modul yang pertama, Principle of Jawi Medicine. Apa itu Jawi? Apa yang almarhum ajar? Almarhum dilahirkan di Jawi. A, alamiah, herba. Menggunakan herba alamiah, herba. W, waton. Kita menggunakan herba-herba tempatan. Malahan kita dapat herba daripada Pakistan. Kita dapat herba daripada Thailand. Kita dapat herba daripada Indonesia. Dan banyak herba yang kita gunakan daripada Malaysia. Ya, itu Masya Allah. Yang pertama kita kena belajar tentang, anak-anak ni akan diajar tentang Jawi Medicine, history dia, sejarah dia bagaimana. Sources of Jawi Medicine, belajar tentang ini, herba ini. Ya. Total Health Management, belajar tentang bagaimana untuk tackle bahagian spiritual. Bila you belajar tentang medicine, you kena belajar tentang bagaimana you nak tackle spiritual mereka. Tentang mental, tentang emotional, dan akhir tentang physical. Maka apa yang dahsyat dan hebatnya Jawi medicine ini lebih kepada 4 yang kita akan fokus kepada spiritual, mental, emotional dan physical. Dan yang paling penting juga yang mereka harus belajar adalah herbal classification. Ini juga di antaranya nanti akan kita punya lecturer kita adalah Tuan Abdul Ghani bin Husin. Kita bukanlah sekali Tuan Abdul Ghani, masya-Allah. Ini orang yang hebat ini, orang berpengalaman. 28 years ya pengalaman beliau dalam R&D, Research and Development, Medicine Herbs, dan what is a herbalist? Apa itu herbalist? Mereka harus belajar dalam bidang ini selama 6 bulan ya. 6 months. Ini juga penting dari segi Principle of Jawi Medicine. Mereka harus belajar ini tentang, so apa yang kita bentuk modul sini adalah yang pertama tadi tentang care economy, knowledge economy. Yang kedua skills. Anak-anak muda harus ada skills. Kena ada skill. Nanti kita tunjuk apa yang antara skill yang mereka harus belajar. Fundamentals of healing, purpose of taking herbs, differences between herbal and allopathic medicine. Apa beza di antara allopathy medicine dengan herbal? Ya, reason herbs may be ineffective. Ada masanya kita ambil herbal tak berkesan. Apa sebab? Ada sebab. Ini pun juga harus belajar. Support needed when taking herbal product safety, holistic medicine concept. Ini sangat dahsyat ilmu ini yang kita nak kongsi pada student ya, tentang knowledge ini. Yang seterusnya dari sini yang penting juga, medicine from divine sources. Key principle in Islamic medicine. Ini lebih kepada kita mengajar tentang tibun nabawi berdasarkan hadis Nabi, berdasarkan Al-Quran. Dan yang seterusnya ini adalah akhlakul karimah, ethic of healer. Sebagai terapis, dia ada etik dia. Sebagai terapis, mereka harus ada etik. Mereka harus belajar apa itu etik ya, tentang untuk jadi terapis. Atau dalam bahasa dia panggil akhlakul karimah. Treatment approach of Rasulullah. Ini pun subhanallah luar biasa. Kita ada Al-Fadhil Ustaz Ahmad Adnan dalam bidang ini akan mengajar dalam bidang treatment approach of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya. Mistakes in medicine, conflict with akidah. Ini juga penting sebab bila kita belajar tentang medicine juga kita belajar tentang akidah. Ini kalau untuk Islam Masya Allah untuk Muslim. Basics of divine medicine, Dan yang paling penting SOP in treatment. Dia ada SOP dia. Ya, masya-Allah. Ini sangat menarik. Skills yang saya katakan skills dalam pembelajaran yang anak-anak akan dapat belajar selama 6 bulan ini. Yang pertama, art of Jawi healing. Mereka akan belajar tentang iridology diagnosis. Melihat iris, kita tahu apa kelemahan organ pada jantung kah, pada apakah, lihat pada iris. Ilmu dahsyat ni. Doktor, subhanallah. Ini Tuan Haji mengajar kita tentang iridology diagnosis. Kita akan belajar bagaimana lihat lidah, tang diagnosis. Subhanallah ya. Ini dari segi pulse diagnosis. Ini melihat nadi, pada nadi ni. Merasa pada nadi. Ni melihat pada tapak tangan ni. Ni kalau angkat tangan ni, kita boleh diagnosis ni. Apa kelemahan pada organ. Angkat tangan begini. Nanti kita boleh diagnosis. Kita tengok. Subhanallah. Ya, bukan telik nasib, bukan. Dia ada sign of hand. Dia punya sign of hand. Dan ini ilmu yang sangat hebat ni, dahsyat ini ya. Iridology ya, ini subhanallah ya. Dan Jawi medical herbs methods, where there is poison, there is cure. Ada racun, di sebalik racun tu ada penawar. Subhanallah ya. Dan yang ini juga penting tentang bagaimana enhancing herbal potensi. Ini antara orang yang hebat di sini adalah kita punya Cik Abdul Ghani lah yang akan dalam bidang inilah. Herb synergy methods dalam konsep peracikan herba HP international. Kita tak menggunakan dalam produk tu single herbs. Kita tak guna satu herba. Dia mesti ada sinergi. Kalau contoh dalam tongkat Ali, nanti Cik Ghani akan terangkan juga nanti tentang bagaimana sinergi. Ya, kita tak gunakan dalam corporate itu satu herba tongkat Ali saja. Dia ada teja lawang, dia ada mengkudu hutan, dia ada banyak herba-herba lain yang kita sinergikan. Itu di antara kekuatannya. Herbal consumption techniques. Ini bagaimana kita nak belajar terapi membuang logam berat dalam tubuh. Dalam tubuh kita ada logam berat. Ya. Itu yang kena buat, kena belajar ilmu ni bagaimana nak ni. Yang ni juga menarik ni. Mem correction, ni juga menarik. Ini antara ilmu yang subhanallah 6 bulan mereka kena belajar tentang ini. Ini yang saya katakan HPA bertahan 37 tahun sebab antaranya adalah tuan yang kita care economy, knowledge economy. Yang kedua skills. Kita bertahan 37 tahun sebab kita membentuk leaders di seluruh negara Asia ni dalam konsep skills yang ada. Ya. Benda ini penting. Ini juga yang sangat menarik. Art of Jawi healing. Mereka akan belajar chiropractic. Mereka akan belajar hot compress with Himalayan salt. Menggunakan tungku, kita panggil bertungku. Itu dah ramai orang kita dah tak buat bertungku tu. Tapi itu perawatan yang sangat bagus. Sangat bagus untuk kita. Seterusnya, al-hijamah, cupping terapi ni. Siapa yang pernah bekam? Siapa yang pernah cupping? Pernah cupping? Pernah ya? Dia pernah ya? Masya Allah. Ni anak-anak kena belajar ni. Ini subhanallah ilmu yang sangat luar biasa ni. Refleksologi. Mereka akan belajar refleksologi. Mereka akan belajar tentang ujitis. Ujitis ni adalah massage. Kita ada satu orang leaders di Langkawi. Anak-anak tahu tak berapa income dia dalam ilmu massage ni? Per bulan. Peman 25,000 ringgit Malaysia peman. Hanya belajar tentang ni kepakaran beliau dalam bidang ni, ujitis ni. Terapis. 25,000 ringgit peman. Hanya belajar tentang ujitis, tentang terapis massage ni. Ni dahsyat ya. Dan ini pun dahsyat ni. Subhanallah ni. Akupunture. Mereka akan belajar akupunture. Mana ini ilmu-ilmu yang subhanallah, chiropractic, ya, al-hijamah, refleksologi, ujitis, akupunture. Subhanallah, ya, ni. Berapa lama nak belajar dengan HPA ni? 6 bulan. Ya. Dan insya-Allah kita akan mulakan kalau Allah izinkan Januari 2025. Tepukan untuk HPA International, insya-Allah. Ini juga akan belajar juga tentang cleansing and balancing. Ya, kena belajar juga, subhanallah. Dan kena belajar tentang sistem syariah. Ini yang Afidul Ustaz Adnan akan belajar tentang syariah compliant MLM business by HP International. Apa yang dikatakan MLM? Apa yang dikatakan syariah business principles, syariah compliance, contract in buying and selling, ethical business practices, element of sale contract, syariah prohibition in business, dan banyak lagi lah tentang riba. Kena faham tentang riba, ya. Sebab kita fokus kepada syariah compliance, ya. Dan ini juga penting, syariah compliant MLM business by HP International. Dari segi gambling, jangan ada gambling, ya. Penipuan produk tak boleh. Harga, manipulasi harga, price manipulation, ini pun kena belajar, ya. Ini semua ni ilmu yang akan kena belajar, ya. Dan alhamdulillah, antara yang modi terpenting juga adalah product knowledge, ya. Herbal capsule kita ada dalam bentuk capsule, kita ada bentuk kopi herbal, ya, herbal coffee, masya-Allah. Dan ini juga konsep business single level yang mereka harus belajar juga, bagaimana effective sales techniques, ya. Ini pun kena belajar tentang mudah, murah, cepat untung, bagaimana nak buat dipanggil menjual pasir di tengah padang pasir. Menjual pasir di tengah padang pasir. Magic sale. Bagaimana nak beli hati pelanggan, ya. Effective presentation techniques. Ini kena belajar ni. Sebab kadang-kadang slide cantik tapi present tak cantik. Dia kena belajar bagaimana nak present effective presentation techniques. Itu kena belajar dalam ini. Ada dia punya. Dan ini penting juga problem solving methods. Ini mahasiswa kena belajar tentang problem solving methods. Itu sangat penting dalam program ini, insya-Allah. Dan ini sangat penting yang untuk modul yang ke-8 ini, mereka harus belajar tentang digital marketing. Itu bukan untuk HP International. Kita melihat Gen Z kena belajar tentang TikTok. Anak-anak, siapa yang ada TikTok? Ada? Yang tak ada TikTok, katakan yang tak ada TikTok. Tak ada TikTok juga. Kena ada TikTok, ya, kena belajar TikTok. Digital marketing di Facebook, di YouTube, di WhatsApp, di Telegram, di Shopee. Ini digital marketing. Itu sebab apa yang kita fokus dalam student entrepreneurship program ini pada Gen Z, iaitu berumur 18 tahun ke 25 tahun, dan insya-Allah kita pelawar juga dan kita offer juga kepada UniKL, kepada UniKL Business School juga. Boleh, insya-Allah nanti kita boleh bincang untuk bagaimana 8 modul sini yang kita akan buat, yang kita laksanakan pada tahun 2025 ini, bermula tahun 2025. Dan insya-Allah doakan ini kita akan laksanakan tahun 2025 Radix International College. Itu bukan untuk HP International. Ya, alhamdulillah. Dan ini berita baik untuk UniKL. Ada staff UniKL? Ada ni kita punya student. Ni kita nak bagi offer lah ni. Kontes Semangat Radik Inspirasi tahun 2025. Ini hanya terbuka kepada UniKL, ya. Anda kreatif, tunjukkan bakat anda, berpeluang memenangi hadiah lumayan. Sebenarnya tahun 2025, Radix menganjurkan satu kontes luar biasa khas untuk pelajar dan staf UniKL. Tepukan untuk UniKL, Masya Allah. Rebut peluang untuk mencipta karya kreatif sambil menonjolkan produk hebat HP. Yang pertama, Radix IQ. Yang kedua, Radix kunyit hitam. Yang ketiga, kita ada V Radix yang saya katakan tadi, no sugar added. Maka pertandingan ini adalah membuat video kreatif duration dalam maksimum 1 minit. Tema dia semangat tahun baru dengan produk Radix. Dan poster digital, tema produk Radix, inspirasi kehidupan 2025. Kita dah masuk tahun baru dah. Ya. Syarat utama setiap penyerta mesti menampilkan produk Radix. 3 tadi, Radix IQ, Radix kunyit hitam dan V Radix. Dan hadiah first prize RM3,000. Second prize RM2,000. Third prize RM1,000. Khas untuk Universiti Kuala Lumpur saja. Itu bukan untuk UniKL. Jadi yang ini tolong hubungi kita punya tim media, ya, 011-1096-9861 untuk masuk penyertaan ini. Jadi maknanya semua ada produk lah, ya. Tak ada produk tak menang lah. Siapa nak dapat RM3,000? Siapa yang nak menang RM3,000 tu angkat tangan? Siapa yang menang angkatnya? Yang angkat tangan tu menang lah, insya-Allah RM3,000. RM3,000 banyak, ya? Banyak, ya? Jadi langkah mudah, record video kreatif atau reka poster digital. Pastikan karya anda menampilkan produk Radix. hantar karya bersama maklumat, nama penuh, nama pelajar dan staf. Ini open ya, kita buka pada pelajar dan staf ya. Tajuk karya dan tarikh penting. Tempoh penyertaan kita bermula 1 Januari sampai 20 Januari 2025. Sekarang kena fikirlah idea-idea yang menarik nak dapat RM3,000 tu. Kemudian penilaian juri bermula 21 hingga 25 Januari 2025 dan pengumuman penilaian pada 27 Januari 2025. Tepukan sekali lagi pada untuk UniKL. Nanti saya akan umumkan, nanti doktor saya share, kita ada lagi satu cabutan bertuah bernilai RM100,000 untuk tahun 2025. Nanti akan share pada doktor untuk open kepada pelajar dan staf juga. RM100,000 tahun 2025 Dan saya nak berikan peluang pada slot ini kepada orang hebat ini, Tuan Abdul Ghani bin Hussein, Senior Advisor HP International, juga selaku sebelum ini adalah Director Research and Development HP International untuk memberikan ucapan. Tepukan gemuruh kepada Tuan Abdul Ghani bin Hussein.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Tuan CEO, Tuan Railan, Dr. Muhammad Nasir dan Dr. Dan tuan-tuan dan puan-puan sekalian. Jadi saya cuma nak ingin menambah sedikitlah maklumat tentang apa yang kita buat dalam HPA dan apakah yang hasil yang kita telah buat. Kita selama hampir 30 tahun kita berjuang dalam SPA ini di Malaysia dan di negeri-negeri yang lain. Bagi amalan herba ni, kita dapat perbandingan apabila kita tengok kesan daripada perubatan yang biasalah, perubatan alopatik ni, iaitu saya membaca satu bulletin yang diterbitkan oleh CAP. Dia kata dalam 50 tahun lagi tidak ada lagi antibiotik yang boleh membunuh kuman-kuman, bakteria. Puncanya sebabnya adalah disebabkan oleh bertambahnya kita penggunaan antibiotik, utamanya dalam ternakan kita, itu ayam dan juga daging, banyak menggunakan antibiotik, yang mana biasanya penternak ni dia akan pastikan bahawa ternakannya tu akan hidup sampai dah dijual. Jadi penggunaannya tu kadang-kadang berlebihan. Jadi itulah yang kita makan selama ni yang menyebabkan berlakunya antibiotik resistant. Begitu juga dalam tanaman, dalam pertanian, yang mana kita dapati sekarang ini dengan penggunaan racun-racun serangga dan juga baja kimia menyebabkan hasil pertanian tu makin menurun di seluruh dunia. Sebagai contoh yang kita alami di Indonesia, iaitu koko. Koko pokoknya tidak mengeluarkan buah. Dan pihak saintis pertanian tidak ada jalan. Mereka dah buat berbagai-bagai research untuk menyelesaikan masalah ini, tapi tidak jumpa solusinya. Cuma sekarang ni mereka mencadangkan kepada petani-petani untuk menebang pokok koko, dan mereka sedang merancang untuk mengeluarkan benih-benih baru koko dalam bentuk GMO, iaitu ubah suai genetik. Jadi yang tu bagi dalam tanaman. Kalau bagi kita pula manusia ni, adakah kita untuk nak sesuaikan tu dengan GMO? Tak boleh lah. Jadi apa yang kita nampak adalah dengan penggunaan perubatan herba,
sebab perubatan herba ni dia lebih menumpu kepada merawat pesakit. Dia bukan merawat penyakit sebagaimana sekarang ni, yang mana kita boleh menyembuhkan penyakit tetapi pesakitnya kurang sihat. Jadi yang tu solusi daripada perawatan herba. Dan kita mengharapkan dengan perawatan herba ni juga kita boleh meningkatkan semula hasil pertanian. Sebagaimana yang pihak HPA dah cuba di Indonesia dengan berbagai teknik dalam ternakan ayam, yang mana kita boleh menghasilkan daging yang lebih sedap dengan kaedah perawatan herba dan tanpa menggunakan vaksin. Jadi kita nampak bahawa apa yang saya nak tunjukkan sini bahawa kaedah penggunaan herba ini dalam perawatan manusia dan juga dalam pertanian mempunyai masa depan yang elok, yang bagus. Dan dia sebagai satu alternatif ataupun sebagai pelengkap kepada sistem perubatan yang sedia ada sekarang ini. Jadi sekian. Terima kasih.
Alhamdulillah, terima kasih pada Encik Abdul Ghani bin Husin selaku advisor HP. Subhanallah. Jadi alhamdulillah apa yang dapat saya sampaikan pada pagi ini daripada HP International, ini antara peluang besar yang kita tawarkan kepada pihak Universiti Kuala Lumpur, UniKL, untuk bagaimana collaboration dalam program student entrepreneurship program ini, insya-Allah. Jadi kita akan doakan untuk tahun 2025 ni kita akan mulakan, kita hanya mengambil untuk 6 bulan pertama 50 orang student saja. Setakat ni daripada UNIDA sudah ada 33 student yang dah beri nama. Jadi kita masih buka lagi sampai untuk bulan Januari ni, insya-Allah kita akan mulakan pembelajaran ini. Januari to June 50 students, dan Julai to December juga 50 student. Dan yang menariknya, insya-Allah ini program yang jurun-jurun kali kita adakan di peringkat ASEAN. Dan kita fokus kepada Gen Z 18 years old sampai 25 years old lah untuk program entrepreneurship program kepada student, insyaAllah. Wallahualam, terima kasih untuk atas kesempatan ini di program International Conference on Entrepreneurship Technology and Social Sciences 2024. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much Tuan Rahaizan and Tuan Abdul Ghani Husin for that enlightening and inspiring presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, we will now open the floor for a Q&A session. If you have any questions for Tuan Rahaizan, please feel free to come forward. Is there any question to Tuan Rahaizan? Yes, you may use the mic.
Tuan, saya Dr. Po dari UniKL Business School. Just for personal interest, saya tengok, saya nampak modul ketiga tu, treatment tu banyak pakai cupping, pakai acupuncture.
Yes.
This concept is so similar with the traditional Chinese medicine.
Yeah.
Jadi, apakah perbezaan antara these two method? Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, alhamdulillah. Jawi adalah satu konsep yang almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail memperkenalkan. Dia adalah satu ilmu kombinasi. Combination, kita combine di antara ilmu yang pertama ada bekam, ada cupping. Itu sebenarnya ilmu bagaimana almarhum Tuan Haji masuk ke Indonesia tahun 2000. Beliau melahirkan 10,000 pembekam di Indonesia. Sebelum tahun 2000 tidak ada orang yang faham tentang bekam atau cupping ini. Siapa dia punya founder tentang bekam di Indonesia, malahan di seluruh negara ASEAN? Almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail bin Haji Ahmad. Tepukan untuk almarhum Tuan Haji Ismail. Masya-Allah ya. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, kita combine, betul, kita combine dengan TCM. traditional Chinese medicine. Maksudnya ilmu acupuncture tu sebenarnya kita almarhum belajar dengan orang-orang Chinese. Ya, Tuan Haji belajar dengan orang Chinese, maka kita gabungkan ilmu perawatan terapis ini, bekam, cupping, kemudian kita ada acupuncture, betul? Kita ada reflexology, ya, kita ada massage. Ya, massage yang kita kalau almarhum buat satu combination dia dipanggil UGTs. Ya, massage ya untuk saraf. Itu sangat bagus sekali. Jadi memang betul itu adalah combination ilmu terapis, perawatan yang kita gabungkan di antara bekam, cupping, acupuncture, dan reflexology, dan kita ada chiropractic untuk pembetulan sakit di belakang. Dan kita ada juga dari segi tadi ni acupuncture dan reflexology lah. Itu memang betul. Jadi kita combine bersama dengan traditional Chinese medicine. Silakan.
Assalamualaikum. Saya Dr. Khairul dari MIT. Saya nak tanya tentang program 6 bulan tu. Adakah untuk student jadi masa dia tu macam mana? Dia waktu kelas, waktu semester ke, cuti ke, atau selepas graduate ke? Dan lagi satu soalan saya tentang pendanaan tu. Macam mana? Adakah student tu kena yuran tu dia bayar student ataupun dia ada pendanaan khas? Yang ketiga, kami juga kadang-kadang ada buat proposal untuk khidmat komuniti. Macam ibu tunggal ke apa kan. Saya rasa nanti saya nak berbincang dengan Haji lah. Mungkin kami buat proposal untuk berkolaborasi. Itu soalan.
Terima kasih. Masya Allah. Okey, selama 6 bulan ini memang mereka akan duduk dengan kita di yang kita target ni ada dipanggil Radix International College yang akan kita buat di Yan, Kedah, tepi Gunung Jerai, tepi sungai. Malam memang bunyi cengkerik je. Tapi subhanallah suasananya sangat menarik di Yan ini Kedah. Dan 6 bulan ni mereka belajar bukan hanya teori tapi praktikal, dan ada masa juga nanti kita kalau Indonesia kita ada libur lah 6 bulan tu. Ya, ada cuti juga ya. Tapi memang 6 bulan tu solid lah belajar. Ya, sebab dia bukan hanya indoor training tapi dia adalah outdoor training juga. Ya, kita akan ada outdoor training juga, bukan hanya teori dalam kelas tapi ada outdoor training. Jadi sangat menarik lah selama 6 bulan tu. Dan dia adalah teori and practical. Dia bukan hanya belajar teori tapi belajar praktikal. Contoh kalau belajar tentang bekam, dia bukan hanya belajar tentang teori bekam tapi kena buat bekam. Malahan nanti kita akan buat perawatan free pada orang-orang kampung sebagai contoh. Maka praktikal mereka harus buat bekam tu pada orang kampung. Itu yang kita buat di Malaysia, di Indonesia, yang kita berjaya buat di program-program dengan di luar ini sebab ada praktikalnya. Yang kedua, berita baiknya, program ini ditanggung sepenuhnya LHP International. Free. Cuma kalau daripada universiti daripada luar negara, daripada Indonesia, daripada Brunei, mereka universiti hanya perlu beli tiket flight saja. Tim kami tunggu di airport untuk student tu sampai ke tempat training. 6 bulan ditanggung sepenuhnya oleh HP International, bukan untuk HP International. Jadi kalau untuk yang ketiga tadi tentang ibu tunggal, sebenarnya bagaimana dalam tempoh 37 years HP International melahirkan para leaders yang sangat berjaya. Contoh, kami ambil contoh ya, saya sebut salah seorangnya adalah Ibu Nur Jannah di Batam. Beliau adalah kalau dipanggil suri rumah tangga. Kalau Indonesia panggil ibu rumah tangga lah. Zero, nol. Tidak ada pendapatan. Sebagai ibu rumah tangga mana ada income. Harap income daripada suami lah yang nak beri income pada dia. Tapi dia datang belajar dengan kita, sijil herbalis ASEAN. Sekarang beliau ada 3 klinik di Batam. Malahan klinik beliau pasien-pasien daripada hospital di Batam dihantar ke rumah sihat atau klinik Ibu Nur Jannah. Daripada Singapura, daripada Indonesia, semua datang ke Batam. Antara yang paling sukses yang saya boleh sebut, terapis seorang suri rumah, zero income sekarang, antara orang kaya lah di Batam. Ibu Nur Jannah sekarang ada 3 klinik yang orang datang pagi sampai malam. Kalau WhatsApp dia waktu pagi sampai petang, doktor, dia tak balas. passion dia sangat ramai. Malahan kalau di Batam tu antara dia punya masalah di mereka adalah pollution. Ya, Batam dia punya masalah dia adalah pollution. Jadi ramai orang kena kanser di Batam. Tapi dengan izin Allah, perawatan dengan herba ni kita ada kesembuhan dengan izin Allah. Itu di antaranya. Menjawab pertanyaan? InsyaAllah. Silakan. Student tanyalah. Boleh? Sila.
Baik, Assalamualaikum Tuan Rahizan. Saya Abdul Rahman daripada Unit KL ni kan. Kami specialist dalam aviation, penerbangan lah. Jadi, tapi saya sendiri personally ada interest in business. Jadi Tuan, saya ingin tanya, boleh tak Tuan share sikit pasal business model Coffee Radix ni? Bagaimana perjalanan dia dulu, bagaimana proses daripada factory to customer. Kemudian macam mana boleh scale sampai besar sehingga ke beberapa negara sekarang ni. Dan saya begitu bangga dengan pencapaian sebab saya pun daripada dulu follow banyak perkembangan daripada company ini juga. Baik, itu saya, sekian, terima kasih.
Masya-Allah. 1997 Tuan Haji mencipta satu sejarah besar. Kita buat satu program memperkenalkan multi-level marketing syariah di Dewan Tabung Haji Kuala Lumpur. Dan Tuan Haji mengisytiharkan HPA International adalah MLM syariah. Bukan untuk HPA International. Dan almarhum Tuan Haji dipanggil oleh JAKIM, Jabatan Kemajuan Islam Malaysia. Kenapa Tuan Haji berani isytihar HPA International tu MLM syariah? Sebab di luar ada MLM, tetapi yang tidak patuh syariah. Kita selaku orang Islam, kita kena ada satu sistem. Kalau tidak ada yang halal, kita kena buat yang halal tu. Betul tak betul? Contoh, sebelum ni tidak ada bank syariah. Kita ada bank Islam. Betul tak? Sebelum ni ada insurance. Sekarang ni kita ada apa dia? Takaful. Betul kan? Tetapi bagaimana dengan MLM? MLM ada yang tidak syariah. Maka ia menyebabkan dari segi gharar, dari segi riba, dari segi unsur judi. Maka apa yang kita buat mengembangkan bisnes HP, yang pertama kita guna konsep MLM syariah. Kenapa penting MLM syariah? MLM ni konsep dia adalah bagaimana kita educate orang. Konsep dia kita mesti educate. Macam semalam saya dengar tentang bagaimana problem solving. Itu sebab dalam kita punya modules tu ada tajuk bahagian mewujudkan satu bisnes, dia adalah menyelesaikan masalah orang. Kopi Radik, kenapa wujud Kopi Radik? Kopi Radik adalah kopi herba, kopi sehat. Dia adalah problem solving. Jadi bagaimana dalam untuk tackle customers, kita kena fokus apa yang almarhum Tuan Haji ajar, fokus kepada problem manusia. Wujudnya Kopi Radik adalah bagaimana nak antara yang tadi yang saya katakan, 4 pembunuh senyap, silent killer rakyat Malaysia. Apa tadi yang pertama? Diabetes, jantung, gagal ginjal, apa lagi? Tekanan darah tinggi. Minum Kopi Radik yang ada herba, yang kita buat yang terbaru ini no sugar added, itu menangani. Preventive is better than cure. Maka apa yang paling penting dalam sistem bisnes kita? Education, educate. Itu sebab kita ada knowledge, bahagian care economy atau knowledge economy. Tetapi tak cukup dengan itu, kita nak approach orang dengan apa? Tadi ni, apa dia? Terapis, perawatan. Orang datang dengan kita sebab ada perawatan. Orang datang dengan kita approach dengan apa dia? Tadi ni, diagnosis. Kita kena lihat apa keperluan seseorang. Setiap orang dia punya keperluan tak sama. Tak sama dia punya keperluan. Jadi kita nak approach orang tu dengan apa? Diagnosis. Ada diagnosis iridologi, ada diagnosis pada tapak tangan, ada diagnosis pada nadi. Itu yang kita ajar bagaimana dengan menggunakan ilmu approach ini, menggunakan bagaimana nak tackle orang, itu yang alhamdulillah HPA International bertahan lebih daripada 37 tahun di seluruh negara ASEAN ini. Dan yang kedua, kita sedang juga memperkenalkan dalam konsep trading. Anda juga kena belajar nanti bagaimana beza MLM, beza dengan trading, business. Itu membeza juga. Jadi yang ni yang kena belajar nanti dari segi digital marketing tu. Tu yang kena betul-betul belajar bagaimana trend sekarang ni adalah digital marketing. Ini kalau kita ketinggalan dari digital marketing, kita akan ketinggalan lah. Itu yang penting. Maksudnya dia ada online dan ada juga dari segi offline. Dari segi marketing lah. Itu di antara yang ada. Jadi alhamdulillah, doakan kita sedang untuk tahun 2025 HP International kita menyiapkan untuk 100 TikTokers tahun 2025 ni. Kita nak anak-anak muda 100 orang sebagai TikTokers lah. Sebab trending sekarang TikTok. Maka kita kena ke arah itu untuk kita punya marketing kepada TikTok dan digital marketing lah. Itu di antaranya insyaAllah. Boleh?
Okay, I will now close the Q&A session. Thank you once again, Tuan Rahaizan. Ladies and gentlemen, before we move forward, we would like to take this moment to express our gratitude to our esteemed keynote speakers for their valuable insights and contributions to the success of this conference. On behalf of the organizing committee, we will now present a token of appreciation to each of the keynote speaker. With that, I would like to invite to the stage Yang Berbahagia Professor Insinyur Dr. Azman bin Senin, accompanied by Yang Berbahagia Technologist Dr. Haji Muhammad Nasir bin Haji Ilyas. Please welcome. We would like to invite Professor Andrew King, Associate Dean at the Entrepreneur College Taichung, Xi'an Jiaotong Liverpool University, SJTLU, for his insightful presentation on future-ready why the world needs next-gen entrepreneurs. Thank you, Prof. Next, Tuan Rahaizan bin Noor, the Chief Executive Officer, HPA International, for sharing his expertise on student entrepreneurship program and business opportunities with HPA International. Thank you very much. And now we come to one of the most anticipated moments of the day, the ICETSS 2024 Awards Ceremony. Please be informed that all the awards are generously sponsored by our collaborators. Let's start with the award sponsored by Xi'an Jiaotong Liverpool University. We would like to invite Professor Andrew King, accompanied by Professor Insinyur Dr. Azman bin Senin, to the stage to present the awards. Kindly be informed that all Best Papers awards will receive RM50 ringgit voucher from Math Proof. Best Paper Award goes to Li Van Du Ai Ching, Wan Kon Tat, and Nur Shafira Muhammad from University Technology Mara, reviewing circular economy strategies for enhanced sustainable performance in modern manufacturing. Next, Best Paper Award goes to Yuniza Abdul Latif, Andika Abdul Wahab, Aizat Khairi, Wardatul Aisyah Musa, Siti Syahria Syahari, Hanim Ismail, Nurul Asma Ramli, Hisham Hussein from University Kuala Lumpur Malaysian Institute of Information Technology, with the paper entitled Global Policies Local Plates Enhancing Malaysia's Capacity to Combat Food Crisis Amid Globalization. Next, Best Paper Award goes to Muhammad Nazri Abdul Aziz, Izwan Nizam Muhammad Shaharani, Justini Muhammad Jamil from British Malaysian Institute, University Kuala Lumpur. Exploring the influence of electronic word of mouth (e-worm) credibility on students' enrollment decisions in technical and vocational education and training TVET institutions. Next, moving on to Best Presenter Award goes to Zuliana Haslinda binti Anha Zubair from Majlis Amanah Raya, Mara. The effectiveness of BTC census to increase mental health among employees in Mara. Next, Best Presenter Award goes to Amira Farain Azman from University Technology Malaysia, UTM, exploring regulatory issues on labour rights for young workers in digital labour platform. Last but not least, Best Presenter Award goes to Wardatul Aisyah Musa from University Kuala Lumpur, Malaysian Institute of Information Technology with the paper title Driving Sustainable Business Practices Through Direct Sales and Digital Transformation, a study on agricultural entrepreneurship. Thank you, Professor Andrew King. Kindly remain on stage, Professor Insinyur Dr. Azman. We would like to invite Tuan Rahaizan Nur, the awards next for the awards of HBA International Best Presenter. Next, HBA International Best Presenter Award goes to Ying Tuan Loh from Xi'an Jiaotong Liverpool University with the paper title Sustainable Technopreneurship in the Restaurant Industry, exploring the interplay of technology and social impact in intelligent dining. Next HPA International Best Presenter Award goes to Muhammad Nasrul Hakim Jalaluddin from Teknoputra. The impact of participant feedback on event success, a case study of urban entrepreneur in Peninsular Malaysia. Last but not least, for the HPA International Best Presenter Award goes to Antonio Benitez Garcia from Xi'an Jiaotong Liverpool University with the paper title Cultural Connections in Entrepreneurship Exploring Guanxi in Chinese Education. Thank you, Tuan Rahaizan Nur. Okay, next awards are sponsored by Sugar Bomb. Okay, Best Paper Award goes to Wee Han Liang, Yu Li, Chi Yao Zun from Zian Jiaotong Liverpool University with the paper title Enhancing Virtual Reality Experience Connective Fulfillment's Impact on Customer Attitude. Next, Best Paper Award goes to Ros Niza Saleh, Muhammad Nasir Mashran, Muhammad Shaubari Othman from University Pendidikan Sultan Idris, UPSI, with the paper title Consolidation of the 5-Step Brain-Based Learning Strategy and Flipped Classroom to Enhance Creative Thinking Skills in Learning Language. Please welcome. Is there any representative? Next is Best Presenter Award goes to Best Paper Award goes to Johari Mat Salim, Zuliana Haslinda Anha Zubir, Cik Rosmawati Cik Mat, Muna Nur Khairunisa Ustadi, Syazwani Muhammad Zaki, Ahmad Hafizi Muhammad Hashim from Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA, Validity and Reliability of the Motivation, Job Satisfaction and Resilience Instruments. Next, we would like to invite Tuan Dr. Haji Nasir to be on stage to accompany Professor Dr. Azman. Next, we would like to announce Best Presenter Award to Tong Wu from Zian Jiaotong Liverpool University, SJLTU, with the paper Innovative Teaching Practices in Entrepreneurship Education within the context of Zian Jiaotong Liverpool University Integrative Education. Next, Best Presenter Award goes to Sapia Suradi from Majlis Amanah Rakyat MARA, Model of Rural Women Entrepreneurs, Competence and Quality of Life. Next, Bongdan Marsulesu from Zian Jiaotong Liverpool University, SJLTU, with the paper title Curiosity and Cultural Intelligence Role in Shaping Entrepreneurial Intentions. Next awards are sponsored by Pernas. Best Paper Award goes to Bo Zhang, Tong Wu, Wei Zi Huang, Zhou Lu, Bin Tao Hu, Chen Kuang Liu from Zian Jiaotong Liverpool University, SJLTU, exploring the use of generative AI for developing evaluation indicators for innovation and entrepreneurship education in China. Next is Auni Najwa Azman, Farah Ayuni Ramlan from University Kuala Lumpur, Royal College Medicine, Perak, RCMP, from Classroom to Global Healthcare, English Language Motivation in Malaysian Nursing Education. Last but not least, Best Paper Award goes to Ahmad Hafizi Muhammad Hashim, Cik Rosmawati Cik Mat, Muna Nur Karunisa, Ustadi Zuliana Haslinda Anha Zubir, Syazwani Muhammad Zaki, and Johari Muhammad Salim from Majlis Amanah Raya Mara, the Development of Design Statement to Integrate National Language as Malaysian Identity into Food and Beverages Packaging Design. As a token of appreciation, we would like to present Prof. Engineer Dr. Azman bin Senin with token of appreciation. Prof and Dr. Nasir, please remain on stage. Sorry. Moving on to the next award presentation is the award for the International Business Pitching Competition, iPitch 2024. It was held from 14 October until 18 November with the theme Empowering Communities Through TVET for Sustainable Development. All participants are required to submit a maximum of an 8-minute video that covers all 9 elements of the business model canvas, and the ideas should align with Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs and TVET. The consolation prizes of RM500 each are awarded to Iqbal and Karin from UniKL Business School Tourism Planning and Development Section with the paper title Ocean 8 Life Jacket, led by Karin Atira binti Muhammad Zaidi Yusmadi. Next, Okefi Mytech from University Kuala Lumpur Mytech Industrial Logistics with the paper title Transforming Waste into Innovation. Okefi Approach to Sustainability, led by Putri Nur Alia binti Hasman, represented by Dr. Sim Wan Chair. The second runner-up will receive RM1,000 goes to H Consulting SJTLU Entrepreneur College with the paper title H Platform Connecting Business from Mexico and China Towards Sustainable Success, led by Marco Antonio Lopez Ramirez, represented by Dr. Bo Zhang, Dr. Joe Lo, and Dr. Antonio Benitez Gasha. The first runner-up will receive RM1,500 goes to Mobitech UniKL MIMAD Industri Teknologi Kejuruteraan Marine with the paper title Marine Mobile Workshop led by Muhammad Najib bin Hamzah and team members. And the winner of 2,000 ringgit goes to Virtuoso Whisper by SJTLU School of AI and Advanced Computing with the paper title VR Comfort Dog, led by Shan Liang, represented by Dr. Bo Chang, Dr. Ji Lo, Dr. Antonio Benitez Garcia. Congratulations to all winners. Your hard work has paid off. Thank you, Prof. Azman and Technologist Dr. Muhammad Nasir for the prize giving session. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor to invite our distinguished guest once again, Professor Insinyur Dr. Azman bin Senin, President or Chief Executive Officer, University Kuala Lumpur, to deliver his closing speech. Please welcome.
Thank you. All right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. I hope everyone in the good health. Very happening conference and ceremony. Sorry, I can't join you since yesterday. But nevertheless, I managed to squeeze my schedule to get together with all of you in this meaningful and very successful events. Yeah. So congratulations, and also very thankful to our partners, Prof from Xing'an, Jatong University, Tuan Haji from HPA. I just visited the booth from Sugar Bomb, Secom DG, and also Perna. So again, a big round of applause for our partners. Yeah, and also to Puan Zaini from Mara. Okay, thank you Puan. Yeah. So yang berbahagia TS Dr. Muhammad Nasir Alias, Chairman of ICETSS 2024, Professors Andrew King, Associate Dean Entrepreneur College Tai Chang Xing'an Jantong Liverpool University, yang berbahagia Tuan Haji Fahaizan bin Noor, CEO HPA International, distinguished guests, committee members, sponsors, presenters and participants of ICETSS 2024, ladies and gentlemen. As we come to the end of this incredible events, I would like to take a moment to thank each one of you for the participations and enthusiasms. It has been a truly enriching experience to explore the world of entrepreneurship, technopreneurship with such a distinguished group of scholars, researchers, industry leaders, and experts. I'd like to express my heartfelt appreciation to the keynote speakers and forum panelists for sharing the valuable insights. It has been an inspiring journey filled with incredible insight, innovative ideas, and thought of leadership on the critical theme of advancing technopreneurship. Throughout the conference, I have been told that we have dived deep into the exciting, ever-evolving world of technopreneurship. We have examined how innovation is at the heart of entrepreneurial today and how emerging technologies are reshaping industries and creating new business models. I have also been told by the chairman of this conference, you guys have explored the opportunities on the emerging technology as one of the result or the key enabler for the technological shift from the new market to disruptive business model. We have heard firsthand how technopreneurs are leveraging these opportunities to build scalable ventures and creating lasting impact promotions. At the same time, we have discussed the challenges we face in this fast-paced world, whether it is navigating regulatory environments, securing funding, or staying ahead of the curve in the industry that move at very fast or lightning speed. These challenges, however, are also a call to action for all of us to remain agile, resilient, and forward-thinking. As we wrap for this conference, I would like to highlight a few key takeaways. Innovation and adaptability. How technopreneurs must continuously innovate and adapt to the rapidly changing digital world. Yeah. Collaboration and networking. How this collaboration and networking become important to connect with others, like-minded individuals and organizations to scale and success in the business. And thirdly, sustainability and impact. This is to build a business that not only thrive financially, but also contribute positively to the society and also the environment. As we move forward, I encourage all of you to take the insight and strategies that we discussed during this conference and apply them to your own journey. The world is full of possibilities, and as technopreneurs, we have the ability to shape the future. Whether you are building a startup, scaling up a company, or innovating within an established organizations, your ability to embrace technology and lead with vision will be the key to your success. Let's continue to stay connected. I believe there are a number of partners who have been with us for this conference. So let's continue this relationship. Perhaps maybe we can go and visit our partners, for example, in Xi'an, our partners from HPA, in Kedah, in Yan. They have factories, they have Tahfiz Center and other facilities. Yeah. So before I close this conference, I would like to extend a final thank to everyone, and thank you to our sponsors, partners, volunteers, and also the entire organizing team for their hard work in making this conference a success. So congratulations to everyone. On behalf of University Kuala Lumpur, I wish all of you the best in your future ventures. Let's go forward and innovate for a brighter tomorrow. So wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Professor Engineer Dr. Azman, for the insightful closing speech. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, thank you everyone for your precious time to join the International Conference on Entrepreneurship, Technology and Social Sciences, ICETSS 2024. We hope that the impact of these 2 days conference will bring benefits to all parties. With that, we have come to the end of the closing ceremony. Once again, we would like to express our highest gratitude to all delegates, presenters, academicians, collaborators, and sponsors for sparing us your precious time. Before we end, we would appreciate all present to remain seated for the group photo, followed by the networking lunch. Till then, wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, you may stand up.